Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, please don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director, and I highly recommend that you use them too. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Athletic Surveys. At my school, we use surveys for everything, for parents, for teachers, for kids, for coaches. And the information that came back from these surveys was incredibly valuable because it didn't just come from the complainers, the people we already heard from, but it came from everybody, including the 98% that supported our program. And that data is incredibly valuable when you're talking to a frustrated parent or maybe your principal or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. You can find out all the details by going to sidelineinteractive.com. Check them out today. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Your students and a lot of your parents are on social media. And if they're not seeing content about their teams, themselves, your school, you're really missing out on a great opportunity. Go to Gipper.com. They're going to have you creating world-class content in seconds, and it's so incredibly easy, even I can do it. That's Gipper.com. We want to say thanks to the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. This is an affordable 20-month, totally online program that focuses exclusively on interscholastic athletic administration. You're also going to knock out 11 NIAAA leadership training courses to go towards your RAA or your CAA. To get started, just go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Masters in Athletic Administration. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. They're such a great sponsor, we decided to do them twice. We want to say thanks to Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. This is a platform that you're going to use every single day for things like scheduling, uploading rosters, communicating with everybody in your program. How about athletic eligibility and clearance? Who doesn't do that every day? Home Campus does all of these things and more, and it does it better and it does it faster. To get started, all you have to do is go to homecampus.com. That's it. Go to homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school's unique history and also share your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and take your teams to the next level. As an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and all of our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that let them coach our kids better and connect better with our communities through the streaming platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. That's digital ticketing that offers more. And if you're looking for a fundraiser, you need to stop right here. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it, our parents loved it, and it works. go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms, but if you're looking for a fundraiser, you found it. Go to snapraise.com. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going up to Memphis, Tennessee, and we're going to be visiting today with Seth King. Seth is the athletic director at the Harding Academy. I want to get that right, Harding Academy in Memphis. And we're excited to have him on Small School AD. So, Seth, how's your summer going so far? And welcome to the show.
Summer's been great. School year ended. I coach a spring sport. I coach track and field, and so we were busy all the way up until about Memorial Day, and then summer hit, and finally have gotten to unplug a little bit, focus on family. That time's just so precious and so valuable, especially in the spring. So getting to unplug a little bit and be with my family has been great. But I want to thank you for having us. You've been a tremendous resource for myself, and I know countless other ADs. So thank you for the podcast, the books. Actually, I was in one of your courses at the conference in Nashville. I don't remember which one it was, but you were one of the instructors for one of the courses I took up there. So I appreciate you and all that you do.
Oh gosh, you're very kind. Well, I hope I did a good job in the course. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, again, on Small School AD, and if you're new as a listener, we're defining a small school as maybe 300 students around there in the upper four grades. It might be a combination school, middle school, high school. It might be a K through 12, or it might be a standalone high school. But small school athletic directors, as you've heard me say many times, have all the challenges of a big school AD, but oftentimes they don't have all the resources. And so we thought we'd give small school ADs a chance to shine. And Seth, we're excited to have you share with our listeners a little bit about your journey and about Harding Academy. And then I'm excited to hear what you have to share.
Sure, sure. I grew up in Middle Tennessee, about 3 hours from Memphis. My background is actually in ministry. I went to Lipscomb University in Nashville and studied theology and ministry. During college, fell in love with the city of Memphis and moved to Memphis because I wanted to do ministry in Memphis. My whole life, I've grown up loving sports. I love working with students, and Harding Academy ended up being a place where I could kind of bring all of those loves and passions together. I started out as a substitute teacher and just slowly worked my way up. Did some interim jobs at the school periodically, ended up getting a full-time teaching position and then transitioned to athletics. Spent 4 years as a middle school athletic director, 2 years as the assistant AD, and then just finished my second year as the athletic director. I've been at the same school for 10 plus years at this point, which has all sorts of benefits, but also some challenges. And I love being here at Harding. Harding it's in Memphis. It's a small private Christian school. We start as young as 6 weeks and go all the way through graduation. And so we have a lot of kids that graduate that have been at our school for 16, 17 years, which is really cool. Our main campus is K-12, with our preschool about a mile away. This year we had about 210 kids in the high school, to give people kind of an idea of how big we are, about 50 per grade, 60 in some of our bigger grades. Middle school and high school, we've got about 14 sports. And across those 14 sports, we probably have 40 to 45 teams. This year, I think 81% of our kids in the middle school and high school participated in athletics, and about 55% of those did multiple sports. So we're big into multiple sports, pushing kids to try new things, to try new sports. And sometimes they fall in love with it and do it forever. And sometimes they do it for 1 year and decide that's not really for them. But we're a school in Memphis. We want to be a school that's in Memphis and for Memphis. And Memphis doesn't always have the best reputation, and so we're trying to be an intentional presence in our city. And so if any of the listeners ever swing through Memphis, man, hit me up and I'll give you all sorts of recommendations of where to go and what to do and what to eat. And it's an awesome city. I've just really fallen in love with it. And my family's fallen in love with it. And I love working here and doing ministry here.
Well, I can actually sing the praises of Memphis. My wife and I spent, I think, maybe 3 days there a couple years ago. Just part of we're going to hit the road
Yeah,
vacation, and had a great time. Hit a lot of the let's say the historic places
yeah,
downtown. Did some tours. So no, we had a great time in Memphis. So
awesome.
well, Seth, you and I were talking before we started recording. Small school athletic directors, have some challenges, and as you mentioned, a lot of rewards too. What do you have for our listeners today? What are some tips, or maybe one big tip that you
Yeah.
found to help you in your work at Harding Academy?
Yeah, a lot of the other small school ADs on here have hit on relationships, and I would certainly echo that. I love being at a smaller school where I know pretty much every kid by name, and that's just been a huge benefit and a huge plus. Kind of stepping beyond that, two things that I jotted down that I thought I'd share. Number one, as a small school AD, I don't have a ton of people and a ton of resources to get things done. So I'm a big believer in automating and repeating, of developing those processes that are easy to repeat, so that things aren't falling through the crack when it's just you and one other person or two other people. So we use Google Keep a lot, which is a kind of a list, kind of like Google Docs, Google Sheet, except it's a checklist, and you can share that with other people. And so I've got probably 15 different checklists that I have shared with our facilities department or my administrative assistant or coaches or whoever. We've got game day checklists to make sure that we're remembering to reset the trash cans, to turn on the scoreboard, to get the right tables in the right places. Just stuff so that you don't have to keep it up in the head. You can have it on paper or in Google Keep. You can just have it on your phone. We've got checklists for senior nights, for rentals. One that we use a lot in the spring has been the cancellation checklist. Because the worst thing in the world is a game gets rained out at 2 o'clock and officials call you at 4:30 and say, "Hey, we're here. Where is everybody?" And so having the list of, hey, here's who I need to talk to when we cancel a game or move a game, and just having all of those. I've got a weekly checklist that reminds me to double check our transportation for the week, any early dismissals, make sure the right people are showing up at the right time. So having those checklists when you're a small school AD, and you're having to keep a lot in your head, having processes that are on paper or on your phone that are easily repeatable is a huge thing. And then, oh, do you want to chime in on that?
No, I was just
Uh,
nodding in agreement. I'm just remembering all the different times where, you talked about the officials, just making
yeah,
sure that everybody on your team knows
yeah,
what's going on, so critical. No, go ahead.
absolutely. And then the second thing is just a word of encouragement to all small school ADs. You have what you need to be successful where you are. You have what you need to be successful where you are. From a Christian school perspective, I might rephrase that and say you have what you need to be faithful to what God has called you to. And I know as a small school AD, sometimes I can get caught up in this arms race of youth athletics and seeing other schools building their multi-million-dollar facility. And it just seems like other schools have resources after resources after resources. And as a small school AD, we don't. We don't have that, what feels to be an endless supply of resources. But reminding myself that I have what I need to be successful at the school that I'm at, just keeps me grounded in the day to day. And as a private school, families have chosen us. If they wanted to go to one of those bigger schools, they could have, and yet they've chosen us. And so I'm reminding myself that what I'm doing is right for the kids that I'm serving, and trying not to get caught up in what every other school is doing. Um, Learning from those schools, watching what those schools are doing, and certainly growing through those relationships, but reminding myself that I have what I need to be successful at the school that I'm at is a big thing, and a big piece of that obviously would then be defining that success. Um, that definition of success is hugely important. Because if we're only defining success by that scoreboard, then that kind of gets tricky. But if we're defining success as pouring into our students and developing positive characteristics, then we can be successful wherever we are.
Oh, I love such a great encouragement. And, I remember I would talk to our coaches and talk about the difference between needs and wants.
Hmm.
And just from a budget standpoint, we were going to try to provide 100% of the needs and probably 99% of the wants, but we
Hmm.
had that different way of thinking about it. This is what you need.
Yeah,
Great stuff. Seth, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, whether it's on organization or just anything that you do at Harding Academy, or just
yeah.
add you to their network, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
I'm on pretty much every social media platform at Seth Miles King. It's my first name, middle name, and last name, Seth Miles King. You can also email me, king.seth@hardinglions.org. And I'll get back to you. Any of that works.
All right. No, that's fantastic. Seth King, athletic director at Harding Academy in Memphis. Thanks for sharing with our listeners today. All the best for the rest of the summer and with the start of the new school year.
I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you.
For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this just about every week, sharing best practices along with athletic director stories. So we hope you come back for the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, as always, we do want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see them on my backdrop. But if you're just listening to it, please visit these sponsors. Again, every single one of them I used and highly recommend them for you. Let's start out with Ohio University. I didn't use it personally, but my assistant AD got his master's from Ohio University, and it was a tremendous experience for him. So go to ohio.edu/info/MAA. Want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, Sideline Interactive Indoor Score Tables and Video Boards, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, Snap Raise, best fundraising app out there. Hometown Ticketing, I want to say thanks to Huddle, Home Campus, and of course, Gipper. Check out these sponsors. You're going to be glad you did. If you're still listening, shoot me a text at 305-218-1325. The first person that does that, okay, I'm going to Venmo you $50 cash. Okay. If you're still listening, the first person that sends me a text, say, hey, Jake, $50, I'll Venmo you $50 cash just for listening to the very end. Thanks again. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.